Welcome to the Board Game Snobs podcast. Critically harsh reviews with a touch of class.
And go.
Welcome to the titular board game podcast.
You almost jumped the gun because I paused. An impregnated pause.
That was a good pause.
I took that pause and I impregnated it.
But yet out
with tension.
Bursting through your chest like an alien xenomorph was our
introduction
of our introduction to the podcast.
Which I then interrupted to bring out the fact that I put the impregnated pause in there. So go again.
I like your impregnated pause. This is the Board Game Snobs podcast. This is Jerry, the star of the show, and with me is my...
Can an animal have pause and then another paw makes love to the paw, and then that paw becomes impregnated with more paws?
My dear friend.
It might be possible.
That's ridiculous, and I don't know why I brought it up.
I have two dear
Just
friends.
because of the pawn for paws.
As pond upon your thoughts, Jim.
I have two dear friends here. I have Gabi.
If my cat comes in, I'd like to say, I'm going to pause for pause.
I find that appalling. Gabi, who is the host of this show, he does the editing.
Seems impossible.
He does excellent editing.
He is plausibly the best host of any podcast.
And that's plausible
Thank you.
He would rival Joe Rogan.
in every way.
And if Spotify would give us $100 million,
I'll go on there and be exclusive.
I would
I'll say whatever they want me to say.
And Enrique's here too. If someone gave me $100 million and said, compromise everything that's important to you,
Done.
I think that I would say...
They wouldn't even get out the second syllable. Done.
Done. What do you want?
What do you want? Yes, I hate my family.
They need you to dye your hair.
I love no one.
Yes. And just start saying these things.
Burn the world to the ground.
I am the Joker.
Pretty much. $100 million. That's the problem with the world. No one has integrity these days.
I have deep integrity.
You just said you did not.
No, bedrock integrity. Like
did not.
I would say, Spotify, go away.
It's really just like an influx.
Go ahead.
Influx
This is going to
with
be
you?
exciting.
Be all honest.
What do you mean an influx with me?
It's like you can have some dignity and then high dignity, and then it just like downfalls to no dignity.
I think you either have dignity or you don't.
You either got it or you don't.
I think there's a phrase that
but like with Jerry, can you really just like say he has high and low dignity?
I have high dignity.
Jerry has none.
What are you talking about?
I mean, you either have it or you don't.
I am a dignitary.
You know what? I can go with that statement.
Digna Jerry.
Jerry.
I am it.
Enrique, there's a phrase you use frequently.
I love his phrases.
And much like you can't have high or low dignity, in my opinion, IMO, for the internet, you either have it or you don't. You often say, to be all honest.
You say that too.
No, I don't.
You say it all the time.
No, I do not.
Okay.
Enrique,
please reference episode 2276.
You say to be, the phrase is to be honest.
To be honest?
Because you're either honest or you are not. So there's no need to say to be all honest. But I don't want to take that away from you because that's like your phrase.
To be all honest.
To be all honest.
Yes, he does say that a lot.
Every episode.
I never realized that till just now. You have pointed out something that makes me hate him more
Jerry,
than what I thought.
Maintain your dignity.
Son of
what little you have.
But what would that saying then be? Like, what would
to be honest?
To be honest.
Well,
I think the saying would be to be honest.
Well,
that's like someone saying so if you took your scenario, hold on. Just in your scenario, you're saying to be all honest. That means there's someone somewhere saying to be somewhat honest. And then, like, what am I to do with that? They're not to be trusted.
I will regale you of a faux pas that I went through
Faux pas.
at your age, where I used to say...
Are these faux impregnated pas?
They're fake pas.
Okay.
Where I used to say mental mentality. I don't know where I got that phrase, but mentality and mental, there's no need to say mental mentality. But I used to say that until the man that would become my father-in-law would point out to me.
Was he a snake?
Yes. He said, listen, that's redundant. You just say mentality. Mental mentality makes no sense. And I realized that, and then I stopped saying it, but I've been embarrassed about that for years, and I'm coming out about it on the podcast. Please forgive me.
I know not what I do.
I know not what I do. And I am a human, and I make mistakes.
We all make mistakes.
But I like the fact that sometimes when we say we all make mistakes, then we hold other people and their mistakes to such a high regard. I love that. I love the fact that we can be so vicious about other people's mistakes and so nonchalant about our own.
That's the way the world turns, though. I don't want to put the magnifying glass on my own mistakes, so I got to point out yours.
You are just about perfect.
And then when I point out yours, it makes me feel better about myself. Then I can just say, but we all make mistakes.
But all your imperfections,
but none as egregious as yours.
Make me feel better.
You had such a high stature.
Yes.
All your mistakes are then just a greater burden upon yourself.
That is true.
You will find
heavy as the head that wears the crown.
And that's a song by a country singer, isn't it?
I don't know. Ted Nugent?
It's one of those country singers and a rapper.
Ooh.
I can't remember who they are.
That was
T-Pain and Tim McGraw.
Tim McGraw did one with Nelly.
That was Come Again? No, that was
You're very
Over
close.
and Over Again.
Over and over again. How in the world? Wow.
Because it sounds just like that. It sounds wow. Because you gave me so much Evan Williams right before this podcast, which is why I enjoy your company. Because you know that for me to be completely loose and fancy free, it requires a certain alcohol content for me to be able to express the thoughts that make this podcast
otherwise
the third greatest board gaming podcast in the world. Send us an email at boardgamesnobs@gmail.com.
Otherwise, you're very uptight. And okay, so
I'm
today,
actually very anal.
So it's a noun. So today,
I'm sorry,
in the anal canal. So today, Jerry comes in, brings a game that we'll discuss at a future date. He brings in a game. I got to keep the suspense in there. That's a tease in broadcasting terms. Say. So Jerry comes in, very serious, very uptight. Of course, you're on the clock. Jerry's never off the clock, as we've discussed. So he's very serious. I'm like, man.
People don't realize this fancy free version they get on this podcast that they don't pay for is me being very loose. That normally I'm a very intense, serious,
unlikable.
I am unlikable.
Ruthless.
But you say the people that work underneath you like you. Do they really?
They do like me because I'm the boss, and they just put up with me. They laugh at my jokes.
And because
Jerry's
reliable.
And this is the thing. They like me because
it's the only time his coworkers actually like him, either to gain more, I guess, social standing with you.
It's called sucking up. So what happens is with you, when we talk on the phone and you're at work, I've noticed you talk a lot either way.
I do.
But you either like have a long discussion without any humor, you're just telling something, or I can tell when you feel good because you're just constantly cracking jokes. So I think there is like a level where some days you don't have as much stress on you as others. But when you came in today, you were very stressed.
It's just because we've just had a nice storm in Oklahoma. So we've had a lot of issues regarding logistics and taking care of people. And that's caused me a lot of stress. Plus, a lot of the people that I work with are under a lot of stress. There's COVID, which everybody knows about. And then there's people dying of said COVID, and it's just very stressful.
So in your hospice, so when you left the podcast last week, what happened to that character? Are they okay?
They died.
Oh, okay. That's unfortunate.
That was 2 weeks ago. 2 episodes ago. Episode 180.
I don't know
something.
that in the last week.
I can't remember.
Might need some heavy editing. So.
Who knows? Because I was under a lot of stress, and I'm always under a lot of stress. And I have found that my wife has often said that I am the most stressful person she knows.
And see, this is my thing.
And I said, do you know God be right?
This is my thing. Well, that's true. But, well, me and you have mine is stress brought on completely by myself.
Right.
In my own brain.
Correct.
Yours is real stress.
Well,
because you deal with,
others.
You have heavy responsibilities. Whereas I avoid heavy responsibility, but still yet in my brain, I'm never happy because I'm constantly mulling everything over.
Do you think if you had real, and I want to stop this for a moment because I feel like, because this is something that this is a pet peeve. I'm going to use a term such as like real stress.
Right.
That's going to discount your stress.
Right.
That's not true because stress is subjective. So the fact that I might experience something that doesn't stress me out, and yet you're seemingly making something up, quote unquote, in your head that is stressful to you, that should not discount that said stress. Even though I know that a lot of people look at it and go, this person is just...
It's like, what does he have to be stressed about?
Correct. And I think that a lot about you.
The man that is no children.
No children. Because not because you can't procreate.
No,
you procreate.
I don't know if I can or not.
At least every so often. And that's not a point. The point being is that your stress is subjective. And so the fact that I am dealing with life and death situations and yet you are not, does not mean that the stress that you feel
that's true
is less important. So
it's all in your POV.
Correct. And so a lot of times, and I deal with a lot of people who come under stress for various reasons. And often the thing that I have to find the most against is like, why? There's no way that you're in any way as stressed as I am. There's no way that you're experiencing anything that could be even comparable to what I go through. But yet I have to stop and realize, no, this is a subjective thing. Just because I have a high stress tolerance because of, one, my upbringing, and two, being in a occupation that is constantly stressed, does not mean that just because you are freaking out about this one thing that I'm having trouble understanding, it does not necessarily make your stress less legitimate. And I have a hard time fighting against that. And so the reason I'm saying this is to, one, virtue signal to make sure people understand that I'm a good person.
You are very woke.
Because I am very nice.
But
people love me.
Like you have literally dealt in life, and you have been on triage where you show up with these wrecks and you have to decide
this person dies.
You have to decide who lives and who dies.
Enrique would die first.
For me, that is incomprehensible.
If you look like an incel, you're dead.
And I'm sitting here freaking out about something I said on a podcast 4 months ago.
Not that I think you're an incel, Enrique.
Okay, well, hold on. This is something else. But this is it's related, unrelated. It just made me think of.
You're my favorite incel.
How is this related? I don't know. But I was thinking about me being in my own head all the time.
You are. You have a lot of stress.
And I think about,
and it bothers me.
Think about my stress stresses you. So I was thinking, why am I so freaking worried about so many stupid things? And then I got to thinking about back to our conversation the previous couple podcasts about board games and having time for board games, and for those that seem to have so much time for board games. And then I was thinking about how ephemeral life is. And then I was thinking about like serious things, like this podcast. Like some people might take, and for some people, podcasting and gaming is their income. It is their means of life, so to say. And sadly, I was thinking about Jamie from Secret Cabal.
Yeah.
He's
got cancer.
He just posted about his cancer. And I mean, that would be super scary. And their podcast just went silent for like a month. And I was just thinking about how ephemeral this all is. Like in like the grand scheme of life, I get to thinking of how stupid is everything.
Well, everything's stupid.
I mean, there are people that literally are fighting for their lives just to get a meal. And I sit here worried about playing a stupid game, and I want to maintain our presence on social media. So I'm worrying about taking a picture for I'm like, oh my God, that is so stupid. And I don't know.
Well, what you're dealing with is relativity, because
E equals MC square.
True, because what equals your EMC square is whatever problems or situations that arise in your life and how it affects you. And so nobody can fault you for the fact that perhaps your life is rather stress-free, but you are then tortured with your own inward thoughts that for whatever reasons, rather, let me rephrase that, perhaps these are the motivating factors for you keeping your actual life stress-free, because you have stress, but it's generated inwardly. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So what I'm saying is basically very little of the stress that I experience is generated within myself. I don't sit around and go, gee, I hope I didn't say anything that offended Gabi or Enrique.
Golly gee.
Oh my. Gee willikers. I'm not thinking that.
So is that related to like self-esteem, self-confidence?
No, I don't think it is. Enrique?
I don't think it is, because
Enrique says stupid stuff all the time.
Yeah.
His self-esteem is through the roof.
It's like, it's just...
Look at this sexy man.
Like, there was a lot of things I said, like, on the podcast in the early days of where I just didn't really think about it, nor did I think about the viewers at the time.
They're all watching.
Yeah, I didn't stress over it. It's just, it didn't really matter to me. So it's just...
I'm glad you brought this up. That's very deep. The fact is that despite having this lack of inward stress, I have an external amount of stress for which, and I will be very clear on, a lot of it I seek out. Like, I am one of those people that if there's problems, I'm jumping in.
Yes.
So
I often blame you for not being able to game and podcast, which is stupid because that doesn't matter in real life. But it's like, no, Jerry's volunteering at the fire department. And I was like, stop, you're working so much.
Have you ever watched one of those like medieval shows where they like line up all the soldiers and they charge in, and you think to yourself, who would be so stupid to be the guy up front? Like, wouldn't you
like the redcoats used to do?
Yeah, like who's the guy that goes, yeah, I'll be up front. Like, I don't have a problem.
I'm not taking point.
I'll be up front. No. And then I realized I'm that guy.
Yes.
I'm that guy of like...
You're kind of a thrill seeker.
Let's be up there. Let's see if we can make it. We can do all right.
You're a thrill junkie. You're addicted to it.
One of the neatest scenes.
And you said this. You have said so much when you were talking about fighting that fire that time.
I've said this numerous times.
You love the glory.
There is a... Do you remember that scene... I can't remember. I watch a lot of these YouTube videos and they're like showing battle scenes because I really like the medieval type fighting just because of the idea that you're going to have a lot of resolve to deal with this situation. You know, you're going to have to charge forward.
They really praised several of the Game of Thrones, the Game of Thrones big scene.
That battle that took place, I think season 4. I can't remember what it was, but there's a scene where Jon Snow is out in a field by himself. His army's way behind him, and here comes the enemy, and he just draws his sword, puts it up over his head, and he's just waiting. It's like he knows, here they come, I'm going to do my best. Mm-hmm. That scene, when I saw it, I thought, yeah, that's nice.
And it's like just watching those, like, it's exhausting.
Right.
Because they are just exhausted, but you either keep fighting or die.
Right. And so there's that mindset of being engaged in an activity that you know is super stressful, but yet you just keep fighting. It's very appealing to me, which is why I think that because I don't have any internal stress, I am out seeking stressors out in the world.
Stressasaurus.
Which is probably the same reason why you do not seek stressors in your regular day of life, because your mind is generating enough stress to feel all that you might need.
So with this conversation, you would almost think that people need some sort of stress in their life, whether external or internal, to create the diamond that they are.
I do. And I feel like that if you are the type of person that seeks comfort and ease, that you lack character. And I know that's kind of harsh.
That was basically me.
No, I'm not.
What makes it funny is that
he has neither internal or external. No, I think we may be onto something here.
You are very soft. I will say that.
Yes.
Like if we were in
Do you fight with anything mentally about yourself?
Algebra.
Like math and all that. But if we're talking about like
in your life, do you worry about anything?
No.
Okay, done.
It's just, well, no, I guess. No, I take that back.
Okay.
Money.
Do you worry about money?
Yes, because money, if you have
he owes money to people. He got a PS5 the other day. If he doesn't pay him back soon, he's going to lose his toes.
I always hated the saying, money makes the world go around. Yeah, I've always hated that saying. Even at a young preteen.
You've always hated it.
Yeah, I always hated that saying because I always felt it was like untrue and all that.
As a preteen, you have no knowledge of what money is required.
Yeah, but still, the saying itself.
You just hated the saying. Like, don't say those words.
Because
I don't like all those words in that order.
Because if you viewed it as an emotional viewpoint, you would think it's an uncaringness to other people. It's just like
all I care about is money. That's what you're saying.
And
gotta make that paper.
When I came more into an understanding of what that meant, it made more.
When did you come into an understanding of what that meant? What has come upon you that you realize you need money?
Well, it's through my father, I guess. It was just like if I remember correctly, and I hope I'm saying this correctly as well. They weren't really current.
Here we go. You can do it. Land that plane.
I'm trying to find the right word for money.
You're
dinero.
Prosperous.
Pesos.
Prosperous, as I thought at a younger age. I always thought that we were always good with money. Always.
Your family.
It's like, oh, I could get this.
Familia, as your people say. It's
like I didn't really have to worry about money. But when I came more and more understanding to it, and even now, I have to worry about money in certain situations as months and months go on. It's like we have no money income on.
When you say I have to worry, are you talking about for yourself or for your family?
For my family, because it implies that because there are certain months and certain years of where we don't get no money whatsoever. It's especially in the start of COVID-19, we had no work. None. Zero zip. Basically, it was non-existent. So, like, we had to... when I mean we, I mean my parents had to pay bills to keep the house...
Heated and electricity.
Keep the electricity, heated water.
They have a lot of cats.
Yes.
Enrique has a lot of cats.
Always feeding cats.
Probably like 7.
Yes, 7 cats.
That's a what's it called? A clouder. It's a clouder. So you're saying, to boil this down and kind of not to cut you off, but to streamline this conversation.
Yeah.
you've learned stress over money.
Yes.
Over being able to keep some things going.
Which I would say is a natural process as one gets older, because as a child, adolescent, you view your family. You have no
concept of money.
Yeah, and you also view your family as being stable, no matter what it is for the most part. This is the norm. Mm-hmm. And then suddenly, when you're seeing others and you're seeing the norm or other things around you, you begin to understand, oh, this is what it takes for something to function, whether it be financially with owning a home or financially with raising a family. And then you start to see, oh man, how am I going to do
it's
this?
It's almost like a natural stressor. Almost.
What you said is interesting about what you grow up with is the norm. Sade, when she moved in with us, the things I took as norm, she took as luxuries.
Right.
Because of how she was raised.
Mac and cheese.
I mean, towels, wash rags, a dishwasher. Like,
I never had a dishwasher until I got married.
I can see that is a luxury, but my mama did have a dishwasher. That is a luxury. But but she was really wild with that. I was like, oh, okay, that's not. But for some people, the norm to them is a lot less than the luxuries you may have. We've kind of veered off the whole conversation here. But anyway, I don't even remember where we're going. So how is this a board game podcast?
It is. I wanted to talk about Western legends, but all of a sudden Enrique started talking very particular. And now listen, I said the last podcast that we were going to make this tight, and we were going to be only podcast.
Well,
about
you told me you told me to bring my best today, and
I didn't tell you to do anything. I just said here. Do this shot with me of Evan Williams, because Evan Williams is not my favorite whiskey.
Bottled and bonded. No. The Evan Williams, it's cheap. Yes. But if you get the bottled and bonded, that's a quality, cheap whiskey.
Well, as somebody who can...
And at the very least, it'll get you where you need to go very quickly.
I'm here. What time are we on the podcast, by the way?
27 minutes, of which a lot of that will be edited out, so this will not be accurate.
Don't you edit anything out of this. This is amazing. Why do you edit us? And make us so... well, will you edit those uhs out?
Yeah, that right there. Got to edit that out.
But you won't edit that one out, because then what I just said won't make any sense.
Yeah, it's exemplary.
Exactly.
An exemplary.
I would like to discuss Western legends.
Just a straight hard merge into a board game.
We have to.
Related to nothing we've been discussing.
This.
Yeah, someone's calling me from Laverne.
You don't need to talk to them.
I'm not talking to them right now.
All right, so let's hard merge into Western legends, which Jerry brought up in a other podcast, which may or may not be before or after this one due to editing concerns. That podcast...
It didn't make any sense. The thing is that...
You just said the name.
Western legends...
By Colossal Games.
It's a very fun game.
Who's the designer?
It's a dude by the name of, I say dude like that's a Western thing. It's a dude.
Dude Ranch.
Like a dude ranch.
What is a dude ranch?
It's like a Hidden Valley ranch.
No, it is not like a Hidden Valley ranch.
I don't know. Look that up. My favorite thing
I think it's where like people from the city go to pretend to be, it's like a fantasy cowboy place.
Westworld? You're basically describing Westworld.
Could be.
Which makes me think of Yul Brynner. Which makes me think of Magnificent Seven.
Yul Brynner is good.
Which makes me think of what's your favorite Western?
I love Silverado.
Really? Western Legends is a sandbox game.
We've discussed it before.
We have previously.
But we played it again.
Because we wanted to play a sandbox game. And this game is super stupid and fun. If I had to describe it, it is stupid and it is fun.
What when you say stupid, what do you mean?
So what I mean by stupid is that I barely have to look at the rule book in terms of like trying to understand any complex mechanisms.
Because
designer Hervé Lemaitre.
Because mainly the player guide itself could be a reliable.
The player guide is very nice, which I think every game should have. Imperium Classics, to be discussed at a future time.
Correct. And Western Legends is my second favorite sandbox games. Number one, I don't like sandbox games.
Zaya Legends.
I like
of
Zaya.
Drift System. Tokyo Drift System.
I really like. What's the guy that's from Louisiana or Alabama that's got it? That's CSI Louisiana. He's the guy that was on Tokyo Drift, and he's got like that real. He's got like he talks like me a lot.
Lucas something.
I don't know his name, but if I die and you need somebody to play me, he basically looks exactly like me. He is my doppelganger. CSI.
Are you talking about the main guy from Tokyo Drift?
Yeah, CSI. Yeah, he's on CSI New Orleans with Scott Bakula. And he's also on Tokyo Drift.
Really? Lucas Black?
Yeah, Lucas Black.
Lucas Black.
Lucas Black.
He's basically me.
Sean Boswell. No, he is not you.
He's basically me.
He is much sexier.
He's not as
sexy. And I love his
me.
Voice.
And he has a much bigger forehead than you.
He does have a bigger forehead. He does not have the hair you have.
He does not have the hair.
He keeps it high and tight.
His hair is super tight.
Okay, back to Western Legends. Go.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
I like Western Legends.
Now, you were wanting to say love.
I wanted to say love.
And you pulled back. I could tell that as you were doing it.
Because I didn't want to oversell it. Because Western Legends...
We don't oversell a lot of games. I think it's okay.
Well, Western Legends is one of those games where it really makes me feel like I'm a cowboy.
I want to be a cowboy.
Baby. And
okay. I'm going to say I love this game because Zaya Legends of a Drift System is way more complicated.
But here's the thing.
If you want to open sandbox, just fun game, I'm not going to say stupid because it's a quality game. I really like this game.
I wish I could ride a horse and I had chaps. And
you chap me.
A holster.
Your lips are chapped.
And
does that count?
And I could like get into a duel.
Now, when you wear chaps, are they buttless?
They are.
Always.
Because that's how one gets one's vitamin D. And so, like, I would go up to somebody and I'd be like, this town's not big enough for us, to both of us. And then I'd be like looking at them really sternly, much like how I'm looking at you now.
Mm-hmm.
And I would look deep into their eyes. And then I would slowly move my right hand because I'm right-handed.
I'm watching you. I don't trust that right hand.
Down to my pearl-handled, because I pearl-handled.
That's the
or
thing.
ivory.
It's beautiful.
Ivory-handled.
Is it pearl or ivory?
Well,
okay, is pearl-handled actually made from pearls?
General Patton said pearl handles are for pimps, if you're a fan of General Patton.
But ivory is made from the tusk of elephants, which I don't approve of.
Which I don't either, so I'm going to have fake ivory.
Nickel-plated.
Nickel-plated. Let's do that, because I don't
care about nickels.
I really like elephants.
I don't like Nickelback.
Yeah. So you're damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
So I'm tickling my faux.
You're tickling the faux ivories?
Pearl ivories. While you are like nervous and you're about to draw your gun.
A bead of sweat is pouring down my forehead. And a singular bead of sweat.
Not because of the sun, because
who is this guy?
My hat is blocking out the sun.
Why is his hand moving towards his right side?
And then suddenly,
I don't know you.
I flinch. I draw my 45.
Oh, 45?
Yeah.
Really? Why such a big caliber?
45 or a 38? I really feel the 40.
I got to go 38 in this scenario.
Either way, draw my gun. And while doing so, I cock it as I bring it out. I fire.
I did nothing.
And you die.
I was like, I did nothing, but I'm dead.
Then you're dead. And then I would go into the saloon.
I like that yellow belly, lily livered.
I'd go into the
as I fall to the ground.
You'd fall over. I'd go into the saloon. I'd say, Miss Kitty, because that's the name of the lady on Gunsmoke.
Mm-hmm.
James Arnest.
Kitties have paws.
James Arnest. And she would pause for a long time. And she would pour me some, not Evan Williams, because I'd drink something.
Sarsaparilla.
No.
Let's go alcohol free.
No, I'm not alcohol free. I'm very sternly alcohol. I recently found out that Johnny Walker, like I never was a big fan of Johnny Walker. I am a fan of Johnny Walker.
I thought you said it knocked you to the ground. Johnny Walker Red.
I drank Johnny Walker Red till my eyes were red.
The cheap one.
And I watched Titanic, and I don't know if my eyes were red because of Johnny Walker or if my eyes were red because of Kate Winslet's acting.
Rose
is phenomenal. The Rose of Texas. Anyways.
Was there room on that door?
Absolutely. She should have stayed on the boat. She hadn't jumped off. Jack would still be alive and they could be married. And it really upsets me that she's now telling this story and her kids are there. And it's like, you know what? I had a fling in 1914 in the April, I think it was April 1914.
In May of 1914.
And now it's like, anyways, I have deep thoughts on Titanic. Don't get me off. But after I would drink my what did I say it was?
I don't know, sarsaparilla.
Johnny Walker. I would then go to the cabaret.
Okay, Jerry, I hate to say this, hate to bring this up.
What is the cabaret?
But we're not discussing the actual game, Western Legends. Let's get back to Western Legends. You like it? But I love it.
I am a Western legend.
Okay. In this game, you can choose a Western legend. I was Bass Reeves. Who were you?
I was Wyatt Earp.
You were Wyatt Earp. Enrique, who were you?
Jesse James.
I had the option of being Annie Oakley. What was your other option?
I don't recall.
Enrique, do you remember your other option?
I do not, but I know he was an Indian.
So they're choosing
Native American.
Oh my God, Enrique.
Yeah, you're right.
That's okay. Enrique doesn't get out much.
It always jacks me up because
why we have such people who aren't as
the whole time we're in school, that's what we're taught, but now that is incorrect. So it's a hard process, but as long as you acknowledge it, realize it, and change, we're good.
Unless the cowboy that you were playing was actually Indian.
It could be. Okay, so they use actual Western legends or people that are famous from the West.
Whether they be mythical or not.
Okay, are there mythical ones in here? You don't know.
I said that so confidently. I don't know. Bass Reeves is real. Wyatt Earp is real.
All the ones we have mentioned are real. So I was like, if they're going to put in a fake one, they should have tossed in a John Wayne.
Marion?
Oh, wait. He's been canceled. I forget about that.
Did he get canceled?
He got canceled. He was not a fan of people of other colors.
R.I.P.
What was Billy the
Eilish?
Kid? No, Billy the Kid.
Billy the Kid.
Both of
actual
them,
character.
Both of them exist. Both Billy Eilish,
okay.
Billy Kid the Kid.
Okay.
Who is a mythical Pecos Bill? They should have had Pecos Bill in this game.
Kevin Costner.
No. Who's the guy with the long mustache and the 6 guns in the cartoons?
Sam Elliott. Oh, I know who you're talking about. Sam
Varmint.
What's his name? Oh no, I can't.
Oh my God, we don't know our
Ted
cartoon
Cruz.
guy.
I don't know what's his name. Sam Hill.
I'm so upset that I can't remember the character with the mustache as long as his body and his little tiny legs that are so adorable. Oh,
he was at Six Flags. I met him at Six Flags, Texas.
We don't know the name.
I don't know.
Okay.
Sadie Sam.
Who?
Sadie Sam, right?
Who?
Sadie Sam?
That's not correct.
No?
Your voice.
It's Sam. Something Sam. Let me see it.
What?
Let me see it. You're not saying it right. It is something Sam. Yosemite Sam. Yosemite Sam.
Yeah, we are.
Oh my God.
Gabi, can I bring out something real fast?
Why did it pop out Sandy Sam?
This has nothing to do with Western legends, and you're derailing us. I don't know why you spent so much time talking about things.
You were talking about mythical Westerners, and I was like, who are some mythical Westerners? Doc Holliday. He's not mythical.
He's real.
But he's a super cool guy in Tombstone.
I lost my child. I told you this story the other day where I lost Kaya.
How?
At the Doc Holiday Festival in Denison, Texas.
I did not know it was a Doc Holiday Festival.
Yeah, because I learned how to play Pharaoh.
But why is it a Doc? Is that where he was born?
No, it's just because they wanted to have a festival and they're like, what do we like? And everyone voted.
We like Doc Holiday.
We like Doc Holiday. We like tuberculosis.
We like Val Kilmer.
And womanizing.
They like Val Kilmer and poker.
Uh-huh. How lewd. You're not wearing a bustle.
All right.
I'm not wearing a bustle.
Western Legends holds up. Great game. Super fun.
Sandbox.
2 thumbs up from this guy.
Enrique?
I love it. Even
On
though
a scale of 0 to 10.
it's a 10.
What?
You know it's a 10. I know it's a 10.
Jerry?
I know I excessively give it
So when
give
I
a lot of games.
you do
And
give.
Jerry doesn't rate games.
I don't rate games because I am not the type of person that are confined by
because you're-
arbitrary constraints.
Numbers.
Because your opinion changes within.
That's true.
Within
He's
that.
very wishy-washy.
This game
Which is okay.
slightly broken because there's certain tactics that you can do, but in a sandbox game, you have to commit that it's actually the theme and the craziness that occurs in the game, and it's not a Euro. And if you can get past that, then you really enjoy having a fun time playing Western Legends. I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I was quite impressed. I was way behind. But I still lost. We all ended up relatively close, within like 5 or 6 points of each other. I went solely on, I was Marshall Bass Reeves, and I went solely on going after bandits. And Enrique was a bad guy for a while. I just went after all the bad guys.
Enrique robbed the bank.
Enrique robbed the bank.
Unsuccessfully.
And he did lots of the mining for gold and taking that to the bank.
Did mining.
I went mining.
You went mining, and at the very
I bought a donkey
end,
by the name of Smoke Wagon because that's what I named him, and we mined a lot.
And then at the very end, you went to the
cabaret.
The cabaret,
and I enjoyed.
And you spent lots of money.
I don't know what on though.
Lots of money.
This is a PG game.
I think we know what it was.
What happens at a cabaret?
Many other amenities.
Skin that smoke wagon. That's what old Kurt Russell said to what's his name? The guy that used to date Angelina Jolie.
Billy Bob Thornton.
He said, "Skin that smoke wagon," and he didn't, and he slapped him. That's my favorite scene in Tombstone because I like the fact that they use slang. Skin that smoke wagon. That makes no sense. But to them, it made perfect sense. Kind of like how there was this big controversy when Val Kilmer said, a.k.a. Doc Holliday, "I'm your huckleberry" or "I'm your hucklebearer." Because hucklebearer was the little handles on a casket. So is he saying, "I'm your hucklebearer," like I'm going to kill you and you'll be in a casket and I'll be your pallbearer? Or
Well,
am I
why would
saying
he be the pallbearer of someone he just killed?
So, exactly. So they had to go back to the script and correct that. I believe canonically he's saying that he's his huckleberry, which that
canonically.
What did I say?
He said canonically.
Well, canonically, if you have a 15-inch howitzer, you're going to win that fight.
Okay, so we like this game.
Yes,
a whole lot.
It's a very fun game.
All right, we're at a good amount of minutes here. We need to wrap this up. I'm Gavi.
What?
This is an.
Thank you for listening to the Board Game Snobs. Stay classy.